Hi, my name's Alex Paull. This is my Stealth Grey ST Diesel. I decided to buy the diesel version for a number of reasons. I had a electric orange Mark II ST, which wasn't the best in fuel. I also had a Volkswagen CC, which was a company car. I had to combine the two due to the lease of my company car coming to an end. Basically, the ST was one of many options that I considered. I looked down the Golf GTD route. However, the interior, I felt there was no competition. It was unrivaled in the Focus. In its original state, the car was enjoyable to drive, but it lacked a certain something. And I started out down some different routes, exploring some different tuners to see who had what on offer at the time of the purchase of this vehicle. I ended up in talks with Puma Speed, who at that point of time were awaiting delivery on 3 of their Focus RSs, and it so happened that they had been looking for a diesel to start some development work on, and we initiated some conversations and we took it from there. My first mod was the bonnet vents. I always wanted them on the Mark II, but never actually got round to getting that set up to have them installed. Afterwards, the vehicle was taken up to Puma Speed, and while it was with them, they developed their first Stage 1 map. After that map was developed, they ran it on multiple dyno runs, and it came just shy of 220 horsepower with just a K&N air filter included with the map. The vehicle came back down to me, for which it was installed with a set of H&R lowering springs and the Maxton designed front splitter. The vehicle was then, I felt it needed more to give again, which it was then sort of communication started up again with Puma Speed and said, look, we can push this car further. I felt that it had more to give, and which we arranged a date for the vehicle to return to their site in Wakefield. And off the back of that, they took to the dyno again. They developed a front mount intercooler for, which is currently available to buy from their website. The intercooler assisted with the intake temperatures, keeping the engine down to a much lower, more sustainable temperature under all weather conditions. Now, the purpose of the new map, it took the vehicle to about 238 horsepower. This was a figure that I was happy with, but again, I drove the car and I said, I'm sure there's still more that this car can give. The vehicle, while it was up there, they kept it for probably another week or two, and at this point they started to look down the exhaust gas exit route. Now, this ended up in a 3-inch exhaust system being manufactured. This also included a middle box from a recommended supplier, and also I have had the DPF removed from the system. This has then been put back to the dyno. It's had the DPF mapped out of the system, and that has actually given a much more noticeable exhaust note and performance across the rev range. Previously, when I first got the car, it felt a bit flat after the 3k RPM mark. Now I'd say it would pull as if it would from 2 to 3, from 2 to 4,500 RPM, with no lack of power across the board. Back to the externals, the vehicle came back to me with the exhaust on, and I decided it needed some more cosmetic changes. I went for the set of Puma Speed Turismo wheels, which are manufactured by a company called AluWorks, and they set the car off. I went for a 9J as opposed to an 8J, just to give a bit more of a stance to the vehicle. This combined with H&R does sit the car very well, and if I dare say, it actually improves the ride comfort on a daily basis. Off the back of this, I then actually came across a friend of a friend who was looking for a sale of his Mark II replica RS spoiler. I snapped him up on the offer there. That was sent down to me. That was sent into the spray shop along with the car, for which I had the rear lights with a tint, the rear reflectors tinted off slightly. I had my grille plastics on the front and back sprayed up in gloss black, and I had the spoiler sprayed in a Mark III colour scheme based on what the Mark III RS spoiler looks like. Currently, I'm in talks with a company called Loader, and they manufacture a rear diffuser for the vehicle. And I'm hoping to purchase one of these just the other side of Christmas and have that installed. And then from there, on the performance side, I am in talks with a business called Owen Development regarding a hybrid turbo, and I'm hoping to see, I'm not quite sure sort of timescales on when that is going to be moving along, but hopefully it'll be happening within 2017 at some point. Enjoyable to drive every day. I can't say I've had a dull day since owning the car. It's one of those things where you buy it, you enjoy it, and you make the most of it. You know, I could use this car just to dawdle about in. It would be great for that, no problems. But if I had that option, I probably would have bought the petrol. However, I did test drive both, and I actually prefer the diesel, which, you know, I've been questioned on that before, and people say, well, surely you were just biased towards the diesel because you needed it for the fuel economy. Yes, that was true, but at the same time, ultimately driving both, the low-end torque of the diesel outweighs the top end of the petrol, in my own opinion. It pins you to your seat, and it's equally as enjoyable to drive. Cosmetically and aesthetically, the cars are identical outside and in. The only defining difference would be the rev counter. And if you can't see a rev counter of the cars, there is no way to tell them apart, which is, you know, it gets under the nails of some petrol owners because, you know, they view the ST as a potentially tarnished brand with the diesel engine option. But if you look at, you know, the likes of your Golf GTD, you've got your Skodas doing your Octavia and your Fabia VRSs. They're all coming in diesel options now, and they're selling equally well. I enjoy my diesel. I bought it for a reason, and ultimately, I think if you are potentially considering getting one, there's probably not a better sporty diesel on the market unless you're looking to go down the BMW route, but obviously that's a whole new ball game. You know, you're looking at bigger engines there, you're looking at rear wheel drive, different trim specs, but personally, in my own opinion, the Focus probably comes better equipped than a BMW, and especially a BMW you can get for Focus price money. So if you would like to find out a bit more about the Diesel ST in general, I have created a Facebook page which is designed for advice, help, guidance, how-to guides. We've also got a couple of sponsors on board who provide us great discounts across their range of products for the diesel. The Facebook page can be found at Diesel ST Owners on Facebook. We've got a website which is due to release in the coming month or two. That should have merchandise, that will have a product range available for the whole diesel car as a whole. And obviously, ultimately, we're looking to attend a couple of shows and events next year. With that, we would like to, you know, invite all members along to join us on these great events.